Good afternoon. Guess it's afternoon now. Yeah, it's great to be here and to have the opportunity to be part of this great event. Chief Director of the Ministry of Education, Director General of GES, the Deputy Director of MESTI, Greater Accra Regional Director, Executive Director of Complementary Education Agency, MP for Jabin, and former Deputy Minister for Communications, Nana Eje Yebwa, my technical advisor station here at St. Louis, Country Director Tech Aid, Mr. Joe Menu, MPP USA, and my friend, Mr. Bolare, whose nickname has replaced his name very well in this country. The CEO of EIB Network. I'm excited, distinguished ladies and gentlemen and our friends from the media. It's a great day today for our ministry. Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo has given me a rare opportunity to transform education in Ghana. And I'm very happy that during my tenure as a minister for education, we have done some good work. And the good work is finding manifestation in various spheres. I know that you don't trust politicians, and because we do slash and burn politics. We come to you instead of telling you what we have done and can do, we have to tell you what others could not do or did not do. So I don't have time to talk about what others could not do. I just don't have enough time to talk about what we have been able to accomplish under Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, especially during my tenure as the Minister for Education. We have some central focus. First, we want to make sure that we enhance access to education at all levels. We improve quality of teaching and learning at all levels. And we make education relevant to the socio-economic transformation agenda of Ghana. What's the purpose of education in a developing country if your fortunes are not going to be changed? What's the purpose of going to school if you can innovate and create something that will change the well-being of your people? A developing country cannot afford education that is just for education's sake. We have to look at education as a means to an end and not an end in itself. And to that end, we cannot continue to educate our children in 19th century buildings and then expect 21st century outcomes. It's never going to be, has never been for other countries that have transformed themselves into major centers in terms of economic development, and we cannot be the exception. So when you see these buildings, these are rectangular shaped buildings, painted brown and yellow. And for some of you sitting here, you have pledged to yourselves and you have told God that in your worst of times, your children will never go to this school. Even though you might have sat in some of these schools, you say to yourself, not again, not my child. My child's future doesn't belong here. I've visited some schools, contrary to what we think that all schools are congested in the public space. There are some schools in our city that are empty, literally empty. Parents have run away from schools like Asim Boys. I had a wonderful time with this group of students. There were only about 5 students in that class. I taught them mathematics. The teacher came to me and said, Minister, can you please help me get more students because it's so boring to teach here. A school in Kumasi, the famous Yecha Girls, has collapsed, no students. A number of urban schools simply have collapsed. Parents have walked away from our public schools. They have lost confidence in us. So when I sit at the Ministry of Education as Minister for Education, my preoccupation is to ensure that we transform public education spaces. So we began, and into 4 years, I can tell you some great progress have been made. These schools that you see here, God willing, if we are around, and I hope I'll be around for many years to come, you will not see these buildings anymore because it doesn't belong in Ghana. So in order not for you to believe it's a political talk, let me show you evidence. I believe in evidence-based communication. This is a junior high school, which we commissioned yesterday. This is the Otio Srebo STEM Junior High School in Dwabin, in the Ashanti region. This is a junior high school. Those yellow buildings in the town of Dwabin are going to cease to exist as schools. There are about 7 of them in that town, and they are all going to be shut down, moving all the children into learning spaces that are better, probably, than a number of senior high schools across the country. This is the hallway. This is the science lab for the junior high school. This is a junior high school science lab. This is the new Ghana that we began to create and will continue to create. I was there, so you can see that it's true. No Photoshop. This is the classroom. No dual desks for junior high school students. I tell you, change is possible. And disabled access, everything is there. I visited the school the night before. That's the gate. And it's beautiful to be in such an environment. And this was when we were commissioning yesterday. There are many places around the country where schools like this are coming up. And we're going to see more of them. In communities with 2 or 3 junior high schools, we have a smaller version of this that we are building. This is the smaller version. You move all the students here, give them science lab, give them robotic lab, and let them be prepared to compete with the rest of the world and win. We are Ghanaians, and we have to be the best in the world. If we are not, maybe because we have a limited vision, not because we are poor. We excuse poverty for our inability to envision and create and do big things. We are turning the corner on that kind of thinking and that kind of lifestyle. We are going to move into a different space. And I'm sure some of you say, this beautiful building, what will happen to it in the next few years? Ghana doesn't have a maintenance culture. No country has a maintenance culture. But they have a maintenance budget and they have maintenance staff. So this building that you see here, they have facility managers that run the place. They have cleaners that run the place. In remote communities, when we change the old school, these are the facility managers, the first batch that we have hired. Land economists, estate managers, building tech, graduates, and they are all over the place. These are the new, making sure we maintain the buildings. Together with staff, cleaning staff that we hire for them, they go and make sure the schools are well maintained. That is the new Ghana that we have created and will continue to build on. Now you move on to our STEM education. You know that in this 21st century, knowledge economy, 4th industrial revolution, STEM education is what will change the fortunes of our nation. You know, going into this tailspin of economic crisis all the time because we have not laid a strong foundation for our socio-economic transformation. So what happens is that if America sneezes, we catch cold in Ghana. And we don't recover fast. The solid weight our way out of poverty. But in order to do that, the examination regime must lend itself to that innovation and creativity. So, this is what we call the new Bloom's taxonomy. If you're an educator, you need to know this. The lowest level of learning is remember. Then you move on to understand, apply, analyze, evaluate, and create. The highest level of learning is creating. And that's why I believe visual students in the high schools are the brightest students in Ghana, contrary to what some of you think. They are the ones who are creating. They are not memorizing. And according to the new Bloom's taxonomy, they are the smartest. But they are the individuals that we say to them, you don't have a space in our engineering classrooms because you can't memorize. But who are your engineers if the people who can innovate and create are not part of your engineering pool of students? So I'm happy that for the first time in the history of our nation, we'll be able to give another pathway to students who did not do science to find themselves in engineering classrooms across the country. through what we call the pre-engineering program. Now, today, if you go to Pentecost University, go to UMass at Tarkwa, they have a pre-engineering program which enables students who did not do science to go there and spend a year doing their physics and chemistry and mathematics, and if they do so well at the end of the year, they are allowed to go into engineering classrooms and also to become engineers. We need a pool of talent, talented individuals who are creative and innovative to be a part of our engineering programs. And I'm happy that this group of students are now going to level 300 at UMass, and they didn't do science in high school. They did visuals, they did home economics, they did generals, but they have justified their inclusion. And our engineering classrooms will be better for it because the innovators are. The engineering came from drawing, and you go to university, you do engineering drawing. However, the person who can draw is not allowed to become an engineer. Something was wrong, and we have to rectify that. I talk of the story of a young man called Kojo Mensah who had a dream. In the dream, God told him that Kojo, you're going to be the best engineer in the world. Kojo was bold enough to tell God that God is not going to be. And God said, Kojo, why are you telling me? I'm your creator. He said, God, with all due respect, I'm a young man growing up in Ghana, and I'm doing visuals. They will never allow me to become an engineer. However, if Kojo was to go to the United States of America, he will become the best engineer in the world. Something was wrong. It has been rectified. And now a number of universities are happy to offer pre-engineering programs. We believe that the most determined soul can do anything he or she wants to do. We should remove the barriers in the way of our youth and allow them to change the course of history of our country. So in everything that we are doing at the Ministry of Education is about transformation, not reform. We have to transform our nation. And that has been the agenda that we have embarked upon. New courses are being offered in our high schools beginning this academic year: robotics, engineering, manufacturing, engineering, aviation and aerospace, biomedical science, design, communication, tech, performing arts. Yes, performing arts, Spanish, and computer science. These are all new courses that are being offered in selected high schools across the country. We cannot talk about industrializing the fourth industrial revolution if we don't equip our children and our youth to compete well. Today at Weja in Accra, we are about to commission another school, Global Studies Academy. In that school, students are going to study law, study international trade and finance. They are the ones who are going to power after and make sure Ghana leads after and get the best opportunity for transformation from other African countries to Ghana. And this is a school of a kind, the school with the best view anywhere in the world. You see the Weja Lake there. After you study, you can go out and catch your breath and observe. This building has moved forward, so we are hoping that we'll be able to open this school and get students. We hope to attract students from other West African countries. In this school, every one of the students have to either do French or Spanish. It's not an option. We want to prepare the next generation of diplomats here at this high school before they get into the university and prepare to capture the world and lead Ghana into prominence. Our goal is transformation. So today, when we talk about what St. Louis has been able to do under the able leadership of Nana Gyamfi-Adwabor, we are talking about transformation. There's a very dynamic young man who's so passionate about his work. I always say that he's the guy who can sell a fridge to an Eskimo who lives in an igloo. So he will be able to go to an Eskimo who lives in an igloo, ice building. He'll be able to convince the person to buy a fridge, even though they don't need it. He knows how to sell. And he has been selling St. Louis well, not just in Ghana, but around the world. STEM education is on the move. This opportunity we have through this channel, TV station, is going to ensure that we can democratize learning. The best chemistry teacher in Ghana, if he happens to be at Presec, can teach to all chemistry students across the country. So what it means is that you don't have to be at Presec to have the best chemistry teacher to instruct you. And that is the purpose of what we are trying to accomplish. We have STEM centers across the country, and it's very fascinating to see what is at Accra High, a place where the young ones in primary, junior high school go and participate in robotics and coding and all the fancy things about STEM. We have 3D printers there. Friends of mine saw this watching us from US, and they said, is this Ghana? I said, look at the face of children, it's Ghana. And then they said, but my high school in the US doesn't have this. I said, yeah, this is the new Ghana. We may have more of the things that you don't have. So, STEM schools that we've built across the country. When I went for vetting to become the minister, a question was posed to me to tell the panel who were vetting me, if my government, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, has built one school, and I said, you just need one. I said, yeah, just tell us one. So I said, okay, Bosomtwe Girls, because that's just one. But many have been built and have been operationalized, and new ways of learning is taking place. So today, the launching of this TV station is one of the evidence of transformation. When you see tablets, every student a computer. They are working online in learning management system. Teachers with smart boards, teaching 21st century way. This is the new Ghana. And we are not creating Ghana for the rich and Ghana for the poor. So at the junior high school level or primary school level, we're also tackling the issue of dilapidated buildings in the villages. So it's not just an urban phenomenon where we are trying to equip and also equip all senior high schools and forget about the primary schools. This is a school at Jetokwe in South Tong. This was about 8 months ago. As I speak with you, they are in a new building. And this is it. The town had jubilated when this building was commissioned. Take you to Azah in Yellow Krobo. By the roadside, stood this school. Recently, I heard a comment by the running mate of the other party that we painted some buildings and commissioned them. Can I paint this and commission it? I'm in politics. Sometimes I think it's insane. The extent that will go to score cheap political points. How can I go and repaint this? How do I paint this? And commission. So let me move on from here to the new school. Yes, this is Azah. It's by the roadside. So you can go there and you see it for yourself. That some great things have been done. Let me take you to a school in Greater Accra. Oh, yes. This one of my favorite ones. I visited them about 8 months ago. I did an unannounced visit. I had a nice time with the students. This is an Anglican school. No ceilings, nothing there. Building was in the worst of shapes. I left there thinking we can't do this to Ghanaian children. And this was the outside of the building. It was a tough one. When it's raining, they have to shut down the school. This is Osu. And this happened to be the closest school to the Ministry of Education. And this was it. Osu. Seat of government for many, many years. And this was a place where the middle class will never send their children. They go to Morning Star. Beautiful buildings. Children with backpacks get out of their parents' car, walk briskly into the classrooms, sit quietly, and go to the library and have all the fanciful things. And then the children of the poor have no place to go than here. Now, the story is different. This is it. St. Barnabas Anglican School. But not only did we change the building, we also changed how the children dress, and we changed where they sit. No more dual desk. Junior high school students should use monodesks, and that is what is happening here. Then if you see the images of the children on the day of the commissioning, yes, these are their desks. You saw the dual desks that they were seated on. Now this is how the classroom environment looked like. The president went to go. Look at the dressing of the students. This is it. Their mindset will forever change. Now they know they are in a new Ghana, a beautiful Ghana. A place where children of judges and laborers will sit in the same classroom. That is how I see when I think of education in Ghana. In the next few years, children of judges and lawyers and all these big people will sit in the same classroom with children of laborers and become friends. And one day, the child of the laborer will be invited to a big party of the son of the judge. The child of the laborer will look around and see that it's a beautiful place and say to himself, one day I will live in a house like this. He'll go to a judge. That is the kind of Ghana I see. When I close my eyes, I see a beautiful Ghana. A different place for all. Not a Ghana for the rich and Ghana for the poor. That is what we have created here. Within 8 months, the environment has changed. The children are thinking differently. Parents at Osu, whose children are going here, I'm told in the morning some of them were in tears when they saw their children. Wow, my child too can be a lawyer and can be a bank manager one day. So this is it. And we'll have to do more. Cap it with our innovative channel, MOE. And today I'm excited because I took a long time, hard work. We are grateful to Plan Ghana for the initial investment in us and also other funders for being able to do this, being broadcast live in about 27 African countries. That's how the Nigerians are catching us now. And they are really trumpeting what is happening in Ghana. Virtual high school is being established, and it's going to be a beautiful day for us when we launch the virtual high school. But this is a fascinating edifice which qualifies as a public school in Ghana. They are finishing this up. They are close to finishing. One of the blocks is done. This is the assembly hall, dining hall block. This is a school that begins from kindergarten all the way to high school. And this is the assembly hall. It's a beautiful place to be. Then beyond this, you have the dining hall, 2 different ones. And then we have beautiful spaces. The reception area is simply beautiful. If you go to that space, I envision parents dropping off their children here, going to work and saying to themselves, it's great to be a Ghanaian. And my tax cedis is working for me. I want Ghanaian middle class, Ghanaian parents to understand that you don't pay taxes and then have to look for money to send your child to a private school. Public school should serve you well. And if you want to go to private, it's one of the choices. It shouldn't be a situation where middle class Ghana sending their children to private because they don't have a choice. Paying for 11 years of education, 2 years of KG, 6 years of primary, 3 years of junior high, 11 years of huge cost because they don't have a choice. We are the government that want to give Ghanaian middle class a choice. And the choice is very simple: quality public schools for you. So this is a beautiful place, and that is the way it should be. We need a new Ghana, and we have begun the adventure of creating that new Ghana of the last few years. The auditorium is simply beautiful. So I know that already I'm getting calls from people. I think the website may be up today. And I'm getting calls from people who want their children to attend this school. And you know who I'm getting the calls from? Members of Parliament. They all want their children here. And the children of laborers will also be here. They all work together. Our plan is very simple. First year, in January, about 1,000 students are going to be here, but I know we're going to get applications for about 5,000. The fairest way is to use a raffle. So National Lottery will be there. You pick your child's name, we show it to the world, your child is in. Your child is in. That is how it's done in U.S. schools. When enrollment, the admission application exceed the spaces, you do a raffle. The lucky ones get in. So you're going to see thousands and thousands of people line up waiting for the opportunity to send their children here. So I can't wait in the next few days, weeks, to see that happening. But I just want you to know this. our nation's future is going to be bright. So I don't care what the politicians say. The sky is not falling. The sky is falling because of our inability to envision and create a new Ghana. We have begun. I'm so grateful to the President of the Republic for giving me an opportunity of a lifetime. Today, interestingly, there's a young man here. I say young man in the American contest because in Ghana, everybody who is successful is an old man. I remember coming to Parliament, seeing my colleague and say, hey, young man, how are you? Because in the U.S., when you say to somebody who is 80 years, you call them young man, they would say, oh, thank you. Oh, I'm young. Thank you. So I came to Ghana thinking it's the same thing, right? So I see my colleague and say, hey, young man, how are you? I thought it was a compliment. And then one day, one of them came and told me that, hey, be careful because they think you don't respect them. So I learned the hard way. So when I say young man, within the American contest, the person who first talked to Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo about me in Faraway, Los Angeles, and he was eager to see me. He had come to LA, and he came to visit us in one of my schools, and he saw what I've done, asked a simple question that has brought me here. Hey, are you willing to consider coming back to Ghana to help me change the education system? And I said, I will consider. You are respectful, you say I should consider. I'm considering. And long and story short, Joe Menu is here in the room. He's the one who did the first introduction. Then I found myself here in Ghana, deputy minister, and I believe we're going to do some beautiful things. So TVET, schools that we've built come with all the equipment. It's no longer build a school without equipment. Every equipment is here. And it's beautiful. So this is what the purpose of this station is about. It should disseminate the achievements of our nation to build in us the self-efficacy to understand that we can change Ghana. These images should be shown across the country and across the world for people to come to realize that change is possible. Sometimes, what we do to ourselves, our politicians, disarm our people. When we say that they took all the money and they did nothing with it, they stole the money, and we know we are lying, but we say to earn your vote. We are telling you the full story. Judge for yourselves what Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo has done. Education alone, the major transformation that is taking place. This is what the channel is going to be doing for us, showing the world what we have done. Educating our children through the TV is a major commitment. And Ghana Virtual High School, when launched, has a space to really educate the next generation of Ghanaians who didn't have a chance to take advantage of free senior high school. They are 25, 28, 35, and they have a real opportunity of enrolling online, watching classes, answering questions, and one day they may also end up going to university and doing many good things for themselves. The new school that we are building comes with STEM labs, so it's not a book thing. And we want Channel MOE to show the country the investment they have made in education. These are your investment. This is taxpayers' money. And I think it's important for us to tell you what your tax cedis have been used for. When you see the smart board in labs, when you know that 220 science labs have been built across the country for existing schools, from Presec to Wesley Girls to all these schools, including Okuapemai, they've gotten new science labs. We want the country to know. You go to Ahantamai Girls and look at how they do science there. We want this country to know. Channel MOE, that is your charge. Tell the world what Ghana is doing. Tell Ghana what Ministry of Education is doing. So we need you to step up and tell our story. The story of transformation should be told. We can empower ourselves to do more. We can encourage other countries to do more. We can lift ourselves together as Africa and tell the world that this continent should not be synonymous with poverty. We have to tell the world that in Africa, we are willing to break the cycle of poverty and replace it with a virtuous circle of prosperity. When we have Our young ladies building and flying drones is a new Ghana, and it should be a new Africa. When you go to Efiakobi Girls in our Ashanti region, probably the only high school in the world with a tarmac for flying drones. And they call that tarmac Ukraine Field. And I'm saying to this girl, Ukraine Field. You don't know Russia. But that's the name they chose. You stand there, you see the drone moving. In the next few seconds, you're going to see the drone flying. Flew away for about an hour. Traveled. Circled the area. Then came back to land. They will fast track it to land faster, but it took long for it to come back and land. And this is the new Ghana education system where we are teaching aviation and aerospace. The plane came back.